You've been hearing about narcissistic manipulation tactics, right? Cool. Let's talk about the 5 often overlooked reasons being a smart person, like yourself, can make it easier for screwed narcissists to deeply hook you by exploiting your strengths. This unique insight will allow you to protect yourself from these cunning narcissistic exploitation and manipulation attacks. To understand why highly intellectual individuals become entangled in relationships with narcissists, I studied online papers and websites focusing on emotional intelligence, attachment styles, and cognitive biases that may contribute to their vulnerability. Additionally, I leverage online artificial intelligence to swiftly search vast databases for insights. Here are the top 5 reasons. The first reason smart people fall for narcissists takes me back to a night I was watching an episode of a drama series my family loves to watch. The main character met a new love interest and she invited him to a town fair a week in advance. He promised to join her at about 7 the evening. The morning of the fair, she confirmed with him that he would be there. But that evening, she waited until the fair closed down without him showing or even sending a text. The next day, she went to the hospital where he worked and he just said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was swamped with emergency cases." She then later explained to her sister that the reason the guy did not show was because he just got promoted to run the hospital and he is super busy and stressed. Maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am, because I totally overlooked the reason for him not showing up and thought, would a person who cared about me and my feelings leave me hanging an entire evening and the next morning without even taking 10 seconds to text me something came up and that they have to cancel but they are still okay? Here's what's not working in smart people's favor with narcissists. Smart people's minds are exceptionally good at rationalizing and intellectualizing by jumping into overdrive and creating complex excuses or imagining how the narcissist's excuse can be true. In this case, we may create a vivid picture in our mind of how the poor narcissist was running around saving people, while selfish us got upset for being stood up. If we were to put our amazing brain in park for a few seconds, we would see the smaller details, which is where the truth lies. And that is the actions a person who cares and have empathy would take, and what the narcissist did to us. Someone who cares about us would not let us worry all night about what happened to them. But here is the kicker that I consider one of the most important things to realize. Our mind can turn what was initially a negative experience and a massive red flag into something that hooks us to wanting the narcissist more. Instead of seeing being of so little value that we are not worth a text message, we may say, "Wow, this person is super committed on what they choose and let nothing get in their way. If we get married, they will be tremendously committed to me. And when we have children, they will dedicate themselves to being an amazing parent." Or we may turn controlling behaviors where they text us 20 times a day and want to know where we are every second into them being super into us. Our intellectualizing mind creates this marvelous fairy tale where the narcissist's negative traits are portrayed as desirable traits that are going to make our life amazing. The second reason frequently connects with the third one we'll delve into shortly. Highly intelligent people often have a heightened level of cognitive empathy. Combined with emotional empathy, they have a tendency to see the best in people and anticipate the potential for change, making it hard for them to just give up on someone. Driven by genuine curiosity, they have a sincere desire to understand others' perspective, motivations, and struggles. They foster a tendency to form deep connections and meaningful relationships. For the intelligent individual, a narcissist's toxic behaviors can be perceived as a call for understanding and support, acting like catnip to a cat as they view the narcissist as a puzzle to be solved. The smart person may interpret these behaviors as resulting from unhealed wounds or past traumas, fostering compassion and empathy for the narcissist. This empathy not only enables forgiveness, but also creates a genuine sense of connection and concern for the narcissist's well-being, making it challenging for them to emotionally detach, even when recognizing red flags intellectually. Once a smart person believes they've identified the root causes of a narcissist's behaviors, It brings us to the third reason they may be hooked, one that has personally cost me years and driven me to the brink of bankruptcy. Smart individuals, often natural problem solvers and optimists, possess a keen desire to fix things. They might mistakenly believe they can help the narcissist change or improve, viewing the difficulties in the relationship as temporary challenges that can be overcome through communication and understanding. Unfortunately, the narcissist often exploits this desire to help, lacking any genuine intention to change. Driven by optimism, the smart person thinks that a different approach or increased effort will lead the narcissist to see the light and change. This optimism can lead them to invest heavily in trying to save a narcissist, who may be in a downward spiral. Unbeknownst to the smart person, their own life starts revolving around the rescue mission, eventually entering a downward spiral toward total destruction. Smart individuals, relying on analytics, may fall for the sunken cost fallacy, coupled with their optimism, believing they've invested too much to give up now. Consequently, they push even harder to save a narcissist, potentially taking out loans or putting their own plans on hold. They do this in the hope that this effort will be the last, assuming the narcissist has finally learned their lesson. Sadly, they may find the narcissist in the same position shortly afterward, having taken no action to change their situation. On that note, have you ever poured resources into a person hoping for a change, only to find it was a complete waste? Share your experiences in the comment section. The next reason has caused me numerous headaches. Have you ever found yourself sharing information with a narcissist, only to later ask yourself, why did I do that? Perhaps something significant happened in your life and you felt the need to share it. So who do you call? Nope, not the Ghostbusters, but the narcissist. It's akin to having a piece of cake in the fridge while you're on a diet, despite knowing the cake isn't good for you and you are on a diet. At 2 a.m., you find yourself staring at an empty plate, wondering why you ate the cake. Our human desire for connection is powerful. Intelligent individuals often value intellectual connections and conversations. They are naturally drawn to those who are engaged on their high level. Narcissists, especially covert ones, excel at feigning interest and pretending to listen. This can make you feel heard and your words valued. Cunning narcissists know this and portray themselves as highly intelligent people who are masters in various subjects, sometimes genuinely believing they are all-knowing, and sometimes as a calculated manipulation tactic. They may listen to other stories, then adopt them as their own, or memorize articles so they can give the impression of being knowledgeable. Believing they deeply understand the subject, you perceive them as being like you, fostering a deep connection and drawing you in. If a narcissist is always there to listen to you or able to converse on topics others cannot, you may start believing that the narcissist is the only one who truly understands and listens to you, or is on your level. This can make it extremely hard for you to disengage with them, as your desire to connect with someone may override your knowledge that they are toxic, just like your desire for emotional satisfaction leads you to eat the cake by overriding your knowledge of what is good for you. The last reason is an eye-opener. Ever heard of cognitive dissonance? It's like a mental tug-of-war that people can experience when they get conflicting info about something. In this case, the narcissist. Such as a narcissist starting to accuse you of things or calling you names when just weeks or days ago they bathed you in love. Smart people who usually rely on their brains and logical thinking will now find themselves in a tough spot. They're trying to make sense of a narcissist's not-so-great actions alongside the positive things they first saw and how the narcissist treated them in the beginning of a relationship. This inner conflict creates a mental struggle, kind of like their head and their heart aren't on the same page. Smart people, often hopeful and leaning towards positive outcomes, might excuse the narcissist's behavior, thinking it's just a phase. Their time, effort, and emotions invested in the relationship make this mental tussle even more complicated, and they might downplay the narcissist's negative behaviors to allow them to hold on to the initial positive image they created of a narcissist. And guess what makes it even trickier? The fear of admitting they made a judgment mistake. This fear ramps up the mental struggle, making them resist facing the reality of a narcissist's true colors. In a bid to protect their self-image, smart people might even dismiss the narcissist's actions or accept blame for the narcissist's actions so they can maintain the belief that their judgment of people is sound. This back and forth between conflicting feelings and rational thoughts keeps smart individuals hooked to a narcissist. They're stuck dealing with the discomfort caused by the gap between what they know in their heads and what they feel in their hearts. But as smart people often overrule their hearts with their minds and logic, it may be some time before they admit the truth about the narcissist, which is the one message to take away from this. And that is sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. The narcissist is evil and good at hiding it. Learn more about narcissism by watching the video suggested to you right now.